we've been doing these screening parties a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm so to say, I have never been so jealous of a whole episode in my whole entire life.
You can have it, bitch. I did not want it, and I knew the musical theatre games would be after my neck in an instant, and I'm so sorry that wasn't on your episode, but it was mine.
Babes. You darling. I honestly think no one did badly in that.
No.
I think if that was any other musical, you would have easily been safe.
Honestly, like
I know.
I do know, because I'll tell you this: when we were doing the pre-press interviews for the season, all we kept saying was that this cast is the most legendary. Wow, that's got really quiet. The most legendary cast that, like, honestly, like you could walk in the workroom and it was like you thought you could do good in one season, and then the talent was just off the charts. So I knew that I genuinely thought that I was going home this week. So just to be able to stay and through the nightmare that is Larry Poppins, I was so grateful. But like just to see Baby go, it was hard. But I think our mood was we were all very celebratory of Baby in the sense that she made a decision that was good for herself, and we were very proud of her for making that decision. So I think this episode, I mean, you haven't seen the mirror message for next episode, but we're very celebratory of Baby for the decision she made to prioritize her mental health, because we knew that she couldn't be in that environment anymore. And for that, just for episode 3, just like I'm so grateful. She gave me confidence that I've never known, and I just love Baby so much. So
Let's make some noise for Baby, everybody! What a legend! Fucking hell! So we have been on the highest and lowest episodes. So the reading challenge, darling. How did you find that in the moment? Did you prepare beforehand,
No,
or
I'll
did you
tell
like
what,
was
that's
on
a
the fly?
flattering cut of my reading challenge. They had 2 reads, one of pepper and one of cheddar. Honestly, my reads were absolutely awful. They did tell us that we had to read everyone. So everyone reads everyone, like one read for every single person. So we were told that we had to read everyone, and I was like, literally before we went, I had about 8 reads for Jombers and no one else. So I was like, how am I going to read everyone out?
Can you remember any of them?
Well, I said Jombers puts the fag in fagash.
There we go, gorgeous.
I've got a gorgeous picture that goes along with that, so it's both that.
But anyway, like, honestly, like, the reads they had, they were like, the cheddar one got more laughs than most of my other reads, so honestly, I thank the editors for a flattering cut, honestly. But yeah, no, I'm just, I'm not the best reader, I'm too nice. I got to wait for my twin to say in the corner that I'm an absolute raging cunt, but I just did not thrive in the reading challenge. Honestly, it's a week from hell. And you can see, I can't wait for the screenshots on Twitter of my facial expressions while I'm doing this challenge, but genuinely, like, we're so unhappy.
Hey.
I know. Like, I feel so bad because there must be so many musical theatre kids that must have watched this challenge being like, this is my life, like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I was just there being like, when is the next home challenge?
Did you feel like
don't
flash before your
have
eyes when they announced it was the musical?
Yeah, I very much, you could see me, I'm like gritting my teeth, like, it's just not. I've never even, like, I remember saying, like, I was having a meltdown, and I remember saying with the producer, I was just like, what, like, imagine getting Charlotte to do this, like, why would you write this musical, why did you cast us, like, there's no point in casting us if you want us to fail this miserably, and, like, I'm glad it didn't come across as failing miserably, because I had to, like, swallow a lot to be able to do that musical, like, it was a lot for me, like, I've never had any experience with that kind of stuff, and I think, at the end of the day, like, I'm okay with the end result, like, it looks, I think
like no one did bad, did they? No one did bad. It was kind of like clutching at straws to pick some. Sorry, what was that? What? Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
You're welcome.
Do you know what? That was a gorgeous moment. I'm sorry,
have the camera set up.
Leaving the stage and coming back with a little peekaboo. No. What a moment. What a moment.
So, the Runway also being a musical week. Did you know, like, when you got the list, did you immediately know you wanted to do Funny Girl?
No. No. Musicals was one of the last ones I designed, and I think it's been a running theme this season. Like you heard Alan say, that they're sick of me being pretty, and there's nothing worse telling an insecure person that they're sick of you being pretty, because that's not something I acknowledge myself. Like, I wanted people to tell me that, like, my costumes were fierce, and my references were fierce, and I understood fashion. That's why I got in week 3, and honestly, week 3 with Baby, like, was just the best moment of my life, that they gave me that validation I've always seeked, but and honestly, and I remember saying to everyone on set, I will not feel beautiful until I watch this on screen, until I have a cultural acknowledgement of what everyone's saying. Well, thank you.
She's very gorgeous, but
Someone even got the wind chimes out for your
whose
head.
phone rung then? Put your hand up.
Why have you got fucking wind chimes as your ringtone?
What's your name? Paige.
Oh, there's another one over there.
Can everyone boo Paige having their phone on?
No, do not boo Paige. We love you, Paige.
Dakota is trying to give an interview, and we've got the fucking wind chimes blowing in the breeze over here. I think the fucking pick the phone.
I think we
She'd done fucking Gone with the Wind for her musical. I don't, it's not even a musical.
Put your phones on
Bitch
silent. Jesus.
I mean, it's so hard to hit you with my microphone. But there's
She's
nothing
still
worse
going.
than telling an insecure person how beautiful they are. 'Cause I just remember thinking, like, that's such a hollow compliment. Like, they're just telling me how pretty I am, and I just remember thinking that's just like something they're saying to placate me. Like, and it was hard to like hear that. It's so hard to say pretty every week. Like, but like that's what when they were telling me that. Like, that's not something I acknowledge. So to hear that was something. It was just something that I didn't really acknowledge, like, and I couldn't take as a compliment. Like, I wanted them to say, I love the concept behind this. You elevated this to some level, and you know, that I never got that.
So while we're on that subject, did you or did you not? What are your feelings about Michelle Visage? Basically,
I hate Michelle Visage. No, honestly, like, I think it's very weird. Like, coming into the competition as a trans woman, like, coming in with an idea of what my drag was and having people receive it in the way I was scared that people were going to say I wasn't draggy enough or critique my drag in a way that, you know, I think British drag isn't very used to like showgirl aesthetics and, you know, Miss Continental, that's very American. And I very much grew up in the house of American drag, watching Drag Race and looking at beautiful trans women and seeing like, oh my God, that's what I want to look like. And I think, you know, British drag isn't that. And I very much expected that to come across. You look like men!
right, I'll go home then.
Alright, lad!
On that note, no, but I think everything you've shown has had such a clear standpoint and reference point, and I said to you all the way through, like when I was adamant when I was adamant I was getting on season 3, I said to Dakota, I was like, well, you can decide half my wardrobe because Lord knows I'll need it. She needs a bit of a reference.
Stop.
Honestly, the references that Dakota has are unmatched. Like, she has that Vogue Runway app on her phone.
I do, it's fun.
Like it is the Bible. I swear to you, she flicks through that non-stop, and I think that is very clear on every single runway that she does. Like, even in this week, there was still so many references within the funny girl reference. So I like, although they might not have said that to you, I think it's something that us, as your peers and as people that watch you, really do see. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that's not cool. That's not cool.
But well, but then what's she just called a
We're
you know what?
Thanks for me.
But anyway, my darling, you have survived another week.
Darling.
So you at this point are technically a front runner and the lip sync assassin of the season. So which route are we gonna go down next
Hardly.
week?
I mean, it's so weird. The next episode, everyone sort of treats me like I won the lip sync. I was like, I don't know if I won the lip sync. Like, girl, like you could hear Baby say when I won, she's like, and I murdered you in the lip sync. And I was
Did she?
You could see
Did she
it.
say
Yeah,
that?
she said, she was like, you know, I assassinated you in the lip sync. And I went, I know. And I was just like,
I think it was pretty like, you know, you gave it a really amazing fight. I thought
She
it was-
knew all the words, and I don't
Yeah.
know why.
I mean, yeah, I know. I was practicing for, as much as I hate that song. Sorry. Sorry to the cast of Six, the musical. You do
Sorry to me.
you do very good work.
It's like
I promise.
stabbing me in the heart.
It's just not for me. I was in that hotel room from the weekend, just practicing that lip sync, and honestly, like I knew I was gonna lip sync. Like I knew the way everyone's attitudes were going and how well everyone was doing in rehearsals. Like it was gonna be me. And I'm glad that I knew the words, and you know, I gave a good performance, and I thought that was my exit. I genuinely thought that was what I was going to leave on, and when I didn't, obviously it was in a weird way. Obviously, it's not a usual lip sync win. Everyone kept saying that. I was like, oh my God, you're lip sync assassin. Like you lip sync 2 times, and I was like, shut the fuck up.
Well, I just
You
said
know that's not true. Let everyone shut up.
The first one, to be fair.
Everyone, well, there was some people on YouTube telling me that I was shit. She just stood around and posted. Honestly,
Well,
I
there's
came in.
always- Ignore the comments, ignore the
Ignore the comments. I came in not a performer, and I think it's weird. Like I performed a couple times, but it's not something that I ever prioritised in my drag. You know, the aesthetic was something that I really put forward, and I think to have that lip sync and have like almost praise for your lip sync is very weird for me, because I'm just like, you know, this was never something I prioritised in my drag, but I'm very pleased that people have given me that compliment and that like, sort of accolade that, you know, they appreciate my performance aspect of it. It's made me love performing a lot more.
There we
so,
go, give it a laugh.
So before we go to the audience, her the Queen, just as a question, as a quiz,
Please, fire away.
What would you have done for your musical theatre runway?
I mean, you know, I'm not the most. I love a musical. I'm like this one. Fuck it out. But it's an obvious choice. I love Wicked. It is my favourite musical. So I'd probably done an Alpha inspired kind of moment and tried to.
Rachel Berry.
Or Rachel Berry.
Tamar, do you watch the show?
No. What? Oh god, that has just gone over.
Why is she green?
I'm an uncultured swine! But no, I've probably done an alphabet kind of thing and try to get a machine made. But also, while we're on this, can we please have a moment for Danny's look, which was I honestly think that is one of the best looks to ever go down the runway of Drag Race UK. Like, what a fucking achievement.
Can we also
that was
have
so
a
good.
moment for the iconic Hannah Waddingham?
Oh, Hannah!
I mean,
Hannah,
get her back.
Waddingham, get her back. So with Naomi Anderson, the best guest judges, I think Drag Race period and all history
Incredible.
ever had. She was so lovely. Like even when we were off camera, she was just like, she could see that I was going through it, and she literally looked. She pointed at me and she went, "Take a deep breath." She knew I was about to be dragged for film, within reason.
She
and
was
like, at least look good while you're doing it. So she went like, take a deep breath, and genuinely just like the most lovely thing. She told me, bless her, she was like, you have a career in musical theatre, like I think you were the yin to Pepper's yang. And then I just shat on her entire career in front of her when I said, I hate musicals. And she just like, and then you could hear her say, I take it all back, and I was like, I'm so sorry, it's so lovely. I'm so sorry, but genuinely, one of the best guest judges ever. She's just an angel.
Hannah Waddingham, everybody.
Hannah Waddingham.
Yes, great. So, Dakota, you are obviously still in the competition, French competition. In a word, how is the rest of the experience?
It's a roller coaster.
A roller coaster. Rona Keane, you just got to ride
It's a roller coaster.
Well, can we please? Oh, we've got a Q&A.
Yeah,
We're going to the questions.
I'm just gonna. We're running short on time, so we're gonna do 3 questions.
All right, who
You
wants to
have
be
a
millionaire?
question?
Ask the audience. We've got a hand in the air. Hello. Go on, Faye. Go
You
on.
can ask her afterwards.
One down.
Just kidding.
Go on. Plop.
Right, come on.
Oh,
Oh, she's got Brexit gloves on. Let's have a.
Jerry Halliwell, everybody.
Hi, I'm Henry.
Hello.
Where are you from, Henry?
I just moved to London.
Henry from just London.
A moment I found really funny is when you like referred to your look as Versace and Richard Quinn, and like I clearly like saw Rue did not know who Richard Quinn was. And I want to ask, like, have you found it hard like finding like references from Britain, like, and applying that to like American judges?
It's a hard one because I think obviously we'll see that with Snatch Game next week very much so, because it's one of those things where you've got to be conscious of someone that, you know, Britain as a viewing loves, and Rue also knows culturally. So it's hard being like, I'm gonna do Kim Woodburn, and then Rue's like, who the fuck is Kim Woodburn? And you're like, well, like, obviously the British public would appreciate that, but maybe Rue wouldn't. So it's a hard decision to make, and I think you've got to balance it. I think Rue knew who Donatella Versace was, but they didn't necessarily know who Richard Quinn was. Not that makes you better than fucking RuPaul, but you know, I live on this island. So
Dakota's Drag Race.
yeah.
Well played.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dakota Schiffer's Drag Race. Anyway, I obviously we're all very sensitive to that, but also I think it comes from an aspect of the whole production team and everyone involved is from the UK pretty much, or knows about British culture pretty much. So it's one of those things where you know that you're in the right hands, and if RuPaul doesn't know a British designer, then they will be informed of who they are. Maybe they didn't get Richard Quinn, but I think that's actually a bit more Versace than Richard Quinn. Richard Quinn, book me if you're in the audience anyway. You know, I'm just like, it's one of those balancing acts to play. Snatch Game is one of those episodes very clearly. That comes into play, and you'll see that next week. Who's playing a British icon and who's playing a made-up historical character. So it's one of those games you have to play with RuPaul. So
We're not going to ask her any more questions before she breaks
Have
that
another
NDA.
question.
I've got
Put
your
your
hand
hand
right
in the air.
right next to you.
Oh.
You don't have to go far if you. Oh, fabulous. Hello, I don't know who you are.
Obviously,
Hang on, what's your name? We know where you are and where you come from, but what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Dom, Australia.
Dom from Australia, everybody!
Just about Baby's exit, because obviously watching that would come as a shock to everybody as viewers. And I mean, Ophelia, you said before, why did she even know the words if she kind of had this thinking that she was going to go? Did you guys on the show know at all that she'd been planning this?
So it's very weird, like it's one of those things where backstage looked a little different to every other lip sync. There was a lot of people back there, and it was one of those things where she kept looking at me and she goes, "You've got nothing to worry about." And I was like, of course I've got fucking something to worry about. I'm going against you. Like, of course I've got fucking a lot to worry about. Anyway, I was looking at her like, why are you saying that? Like, genuinely didn't click until she said, "Can I speak?" And I knew what was about to happen. But I didn't even want to ask because I knew it would have affected my performance, and I wanted to give everything I could in that lip sync. And I mean, it might not have been anything compared to Baby, but you know, it was something I felt like I needed to do to prove myself on that car crash challenge. So I just very much felt in that moment we genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. I think maybe other people might have been inclined to it, but I clearly wasn't. You can see my reaction. Sorry?
Do you mean production?
Production and the Queens. I think a lot of people were very aware of Baby's situation, and very much the way that she talked in Untucked, you know, there was a lot of people being like, Danny is a hotel manager, like, stop checking out, stop checking in, stop checking out, like, and I was like, fucking hell, like, it's not a hotel, like, they're telling us like that in week 3 to Copper, like, don't check out, and it's like, it's hard to like hear judges' critiques and feel like emboldened to do better, like, sometimes you really feel like you are backed into a corner, and I think there's a very stark difference between what I said in Untucked and what Baby said in Untucked. You know, it was a challenge in itself, but I felt very much like I wanted to say it. I felt like I very much had an arc in the season so far that had very much shown that I was kicked down in the first week and had really had to build myself back up to get to the place, and then to be thrown this musical that I absolutely couldn't fucking stand, was a challenge. And I very much just felt frustrated at myself that I let this break my sort of momentum in the competition. And I think when it comes to someone like Baby, it was very clear that it wasn't necessarily that she felt like she couldn't exceed at the challenge, but felt like she couldn't physically be there anymore. There's a very stark difference between those two viewpoints. And I think as a whole, watching it now, it feels very obvious that was going to happen, but I was not aware. My reaction when Baby quit, I was just like heartbroken because that's my episode 3 sister, and she ironically gave me the confidence I needed. She made me believe in myself, and to watch being a lip sync with her and watch her crack and realize that, you know, she can't be here right now, that was heartbreaking. But yeah.
Thank you.
Give it up for Baby,
We've
give it
got-
the power!
We've got one more very quick question.
One more question from the back. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
My name's Milo, I'm from Manchester.
Milo from Manchester, M&M. What's your question?
I actually have 2 questions.
Okay, you can have one. Come on. I want to do a number.
The first half of the question is, what star sign are you?
I'm a
And the
Sagittarius.
second half is, how was Giovanni as a choreographer?
That's a nice question.
Right, so you could see me at the end, like, we had these headsets on that were like Bluetooth headsets, and I think the producers were on one line and we were on another line, and there was this one moment where there was this delayed feedback in Giovanni's headset where we could hear what the producer was saying. They were like, oh, Dakota, how she's doing. And I was visibly crying. And that's a clip that they leave in the show where I'm like, I'm great, I'm just having the best time. And I can't wait to see what Twitter does with that. But I just remember literally sitting there being like, they're like, oh, Dakota, how she's doing. Like, and I just remember sitting there being like, I've been backstage and crying for hours. I guess it's funny because it's one of those episodes where episode 1, very much crying on camera. Episode 5, crying off camera. Every time the cameras shut off, like, tears, and everyone was so fucking pissed at me. So like, why did she hate musicals so much? And I was just going, this musical, like, why can't we do Share the Musical or Madonna the Musical? Like, why do I have to play this weird twin? It was one of those things where, but it was one of those things where I just remember standing on stage. Giovanni was great as a choreographer, and you don't see like much of the rehearsal time we had. We had not a lot of time to rehearse, but far more than what they showed, and far more than like 3 minutes they showed, imagine. But you know, they were very constructive. There were multiple choreographers on set. They were very understanding of my apprehension of the challenge. And in the end, I feel like I got a hang of the choreography, but it might not have been something that, you know, I necessarily enjoyed still. I think you could see that on my face. I just very much wanted it to be over, but, you know, Giovanni as himself was a very constructive and, like, a very good choreographer. And surprisingly, I just remember thinking, oh my God, they just brought him in for, like, you know, a bit. And he's not actually going to be choreographing this.
A bit of eye candy.
Maybe a bit of eye candy, you know, the tricky catch-all and track.
And that he is.
Yeah, but that he is.
And that he is.
To Sam, and I think that, you know, it's one of those things where
But he was
actually he was really good. He was there for the whole time. Every day we were rehearsing, he was there, and it was over a weekend. And I think remember them saying like, we are not going to give them a weekend to rehearse the musical this time because the film was too good, except me. But anyway, self-depreciation, everyone. But,
Wow, there we go. Giovanni is very good. Please give it up. Give a massive round of applause. The upstanding for our gorgeous special guest.
She lives to fight another day. Are we looking forward to seeing Dakota next week, everybody?